Well, we've been making our way through Titus chapter 2 and chapter 3. And last time we were looking at chapter 3, verse 3, that says that we were once foolish, disobedient, led astray, slaves, and so on. And we talked about the fact that the grace of God that changes us can certainly change other people. And that should be our motivation to care for those around us, to love them, to be patient with them, and most importantly, to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with them. We were once that way. Now I want to read for you verse 4 of Titus 3 that says, "But when the goodness and loving kindness of God our Savior appeared." Now, if you were to see my Bible that I've used for several years, you would see that it's full of markings. I highlight it, I circle things, I underline things, I draw arrows. That's one of the ways that I study the Bible, and it helps me to find things later. Oh, I know I marked that. I know it was on the left-hand page halfway down. It just helps me find things in my Bible. And one of the things I always do is when I come to passages like this that start the way that Titus 3:4 starts, I circle that little word, but. And I don't know why, but I call that a hinge word. In other words, things completely flipped because of this one fact. We ourselves were once this way, but when the kindness, when the goodness and loving kindness of God appeared, the one thing that made all the difference in our lives is the goodness and the loving kindness of God. Now, I looked up those two words. The word goodness simply means that. It means goodness. It means uprightness. The word loving kindness is interesting because one of the commentators I read said, we don't really have a word in our English language that matches this one, loving kindness. It's the combination of goodness and kindness. And so, even though we were once all of these things, disobedient and slaves to our passions and passing our days in malice and envy, hated by others and hating those around us, God responded to us in this incredible combination of goodness and kindness. But God, somehow, as only God could, because of who He is, because of His wonderful character, His holiness and His grace and His mercy, looked down and extended grace to us through Jesus Christ. It made me think, so much change because of that one thing in our lives. Could that be the one thing, and of course it could be, that changes the life of that person that you see every day? Maybe you live with this person. Maybe you're married to this person. Maybe you work with this person or go to school with them, or they're your next door neighbor, or they're your buddy that you hang out with every once in a while. And you think, what could possibly get their attention? What could possibly change them? My friends, it's here. The loving kindness of God. That's the hinge. That's the one thing that everything swings on. God's goodness to us. Will you pray that way? Think about that person right now and pray for them today, that they would experience this in their lives like you have and like I have.